podcast that seeks to push meaningful conversation to a whole new level. Whether it's for your entertainment or your personal growth, we appreciate you being here today. And now, on to the show. What's going on, man?
Back for another one, man.
Back for another one. Get the Jesus music going. Jesus music in the background. Angels and fairies.
This
and
kid is on something.
all
different.
kind of stuff. As we were introing, I was just realizing now, since we're trying this new multi-camera thing, right? We have a volume meter on this one, but there's none on these other two. So I was like, shit, what if we don't get no audio? But I guess it doesn't really matter because we got it right here.
Yeah, the audio's there. And
I'm worried about
it
nothing.
could be good though.
Worried about nothing.
Yep. It's gonna work out.
Anyway, what are we getting into today?
Man, we so you're talking about the Jesus music, but
Jesus.
I think, man, we're talking about The Secret, man. It's a film that was filmed in 2006.
Was a book. I wonder if it was a book before it was a film.
I think it may have
was
been
a
the book first.
Before the film.
Yeah.
And now, yeah, we're talking about The Secret. We're almost 20 years late.
Yeah, right. 20 years late on it.
But we're going to share the spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
We're going to share the secret
Right.
with everybody hopefully. So, yeah. It's interesting because I remember when the book came out, it was like a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was a really big deal because it was a really big deal, or if it was a really big deal because there really wasn't, internet and everything wasn't popping back then.
I got you.
And then there was a book and it had a secret.
And it had a secret.
And everybody wants to know.
Everybody wants to know.
Everybody wants to know what the secret
right,
is.
Right.
So was that why it was big? I don't know. I did watch the movie for the people that are interested in seeing it. It's I watched it on Amazon.
That's where I found it at too.
Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Amazon Prime. Check it out. Excuse me. I did. This is going to sidetrack a little bit.
Okay. All right.
I had to pause because I try not to laugh. I'm trying not to laugh. But as I'm watching The Secret, right, and I'm looking at it's got horrible acting. That's
Completely horrible. Completely horrible. The little outtakes. But then it's 2006.
Yeah, but to me, I feel like for the success that the book had, because
Okay.
the book had a decent amount. It did well.
Okay.
It did well, right?
Gotcha.
You couldn't find better cars than a PT Cruiser.
They didn't have a huge budget. It didn't look like it was a huge budget for the film.
It was not where'd the money go? That's the secret.
That's the secret. Yeah. Nobody was putting in their money on the film.
That's the real secret is that the
Yeah.
money is, because I was like, God, this is.
So was it told from the lady's perspective?
I don't think so.
I think it wasn't told like she found the book.
And that was it.
But
And then-
was this told from her understanding or no?
Not by the way I watch. If someone was to watch the movie,
Yeah.
that you'd just be confused.
I got you. Yeah, I was a little confused, which is why I asked you.
And then I got sidetracked by the bad cars and the terrible acting. And what really threw me about the whole thing is like how it becomes very hard to buy in being, I don't want a PT Cruiser.
So it contradicts the whole discussion when you see a PT Cruiser
Right? Because
riding in the background.
It's about dreams, positive thinking.
Yeah, right.
Being a visionary,
Yep.
trying to visualize things into fruition, and PT Cruiser just never.
So when we talk about the law of attraction, the PT Cruiser is not something you want to be attracted to.
No. And,
Okay.
and
All
then they went through.
I thought you liked cars.
I love cars.
You don't like the PT Cruiser?
I like
It was
for,
one of a
I
kind.
like it for somebody else, and I like it for somebody else.
I got you.
But and then they go through the sports car, like feel yourself in the car. Feel yourself.
Yeah, right.
You know,
And you actually see the guy sitting in
you see the guy
in the
sitting in
chair.
the chair, and he is just he's acting
closes
like,
his
and,
eyes
I'm
and-
expecting to see like a Lamborghini Diablo. I'm just sitting here, you know, Acura NSX. You know, maybe he was, you know, Caucasians or probably a Corvette. You know, something of that nature, and then it's like a Nissan 350Z. I'm like, I can pick one of those up for like $5,000 right now. So I don't need. I mean, that to me is not. But hey, if that is his dream,
Exactly.
if
That's where he
his dream,
started. Maybe that's where that was
I'm
his
not
initial,
here to knock him.
you know, point of manifestation was that piece right there. And if I can get to this, then I can get to the next one. So maybe it was building blocks for him.
What happened to dream big?
You know
for
what?
him, that
Because
probably was. I don't know.
we are so far off of what we. The thing is, when it comes to dreaming big, man, I've met people. I met a young lady that said her dream car was a Toyota Corolla, and I was like, just like this, quiet, with nothing to say, and I said,
Well, in
"It's what I said."
her defense,
Okay,
okay, I don't know her, and this is probably
I didn't know her at that point either.
probably not accurate for her or even pertain to her. But in her defense,
Mm-hmm.
there are some very sweet late model, and I'm talking like late 60s, early 70s, Japanese Corollas that, you know, Toyotas that are very, very nice.
No.
So
No. Nope. It was a nope. Mm-mm. Not
No, it
not
was
not
a-
the Corolla she was
it was
discussing.
a 2012.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know, I guess that's interesting is that God damn, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, we're so far away from it, but it's okay.
Because I wasn't talking to the person, but it came up in conversation, and I happened to overhear it, and they were like, "Oh, my dream car is a Kia Telluride,"
Okay.
and I was like,
You know, everybody, and I guess, you know, part of that, right, is we all put value into different things, right? And so where a car may be yours, or a house may be somebody else's, or a watch may be somebody else's, or whatever it is, their thing may not be, you know, as much emphasized into a vehicle as it is to something else, possibly.
"Yeah,
I'm just trying to justify. I'm not. Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like people need to educate themselves,
Yeah.
because when you say dream, right?
Right.
When we say dream,
Yep.
dream of
It's not something easily attainable.
yes, it's
Yeah,
not.
right.
It's not, because when I think of Kia, I think of back in the day when they first came out. I think of it was Kia, and it was Daewoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Daewoo used to be buy one get one free. When's the last time you see a car
Daewoo is
buy
not.
one get one free?
Oh man. Yep.
And for somebody out there, I remember, because there's people like, man, I could get two whole cars. So hey, whatever.
Okay.
I'm not here to judge. Circling back around to
Yeah.
dreams. Dreams. It would be my dream for everyone to like, comment, subscribe, and help us spread the word
Yeah,
of
most
the
definitely.
Deep MCs, because, you know, we love you guys and we want to hear what you have to say, and we want to be able to give you more interesting Daewoo conversations. So hit it. Let's go. Going back to The Secret, though.
Yeah.
I watched it. I don't know if you want to give a synopsis of, you probably better of it than I am. Basically, it's positive thinking.
Yeah, really.
produces positive results.
It's right, honestly, and it takes it one step further. It's more than I think just the. It's not I think. It's more than just the positive thought, but it's a. They're saying you have to then visualize it kind of in a natural way, right? And so we were talking about the guy who was driving a sports car, and he visualized his hands. He looked at the back of his hands, and then he curled them around the steering wheel, the imaginary steering wheel. He was sitting in his recliner, I think, in the house. He was sitting in his recliner. He closed his eyes, and he was literally, it's almost like the virtual things we put on today.
Yes,
they just didn't have it in 2006, right? So he closes his hands around it, and he closes his eyes, and he's literally driving the car, okay? And then he gets up out of the chair, puts the chair in park, gets out of the chair, and then points at it, as if he's locking it, right?
Yes.
It seems real comical and funny, right? And crazy. But what they're saying is that you also have to visualize it. And then everything about that process for you, the thought, the visualization, all of it begins to operate together into one thing to bring that thing to you, right? Because we're all matter. We're more than just the flesh and bone that you see. We're all matter, and everything is matter. And so we're all operating together, and the universe is what they're saying should bring that back to you.
Yes. Supposedly is what they say.
Is what they're saying.
Now, obviously, I got to pick it up.
I know. This is why we are talking about this right now.
So I have a couple problems with that.
Okay.
Not that I don't. So I guess when you read the book or you watch the show or whatever, the movie, they talk about this is what like all the great people knew.
Yeah. I mean, they name a lot of people.
Yes,
right.
a lot of people. And as they're reading, a lot of these people that knew the secret, obtained this wealth and whatever, it clicked on me.
Okay.
That maybe the secret is not positive, positive thought, right? It's not the positive, affirmations or whatever you want, the visualization or whatever you want to call it. Maybe the secret was all the slaves all y'all own.
Here we go.
that
was doing all the work.
Breaking
that was
backs.
The secret, huh?
That was
man.
But did you see how many slave owners were in?
It's crazy you say that. It's crazy you say that. And I'm jumping the rail. It's my turn. It's my turn to jump the rail.
Come on.
Because it's crazy you say that. Because it was a lot of slave owners in the thing. All these old pictures with, the white fluffy hair, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of them in there. But all of that was mind control at the end of the day. That whole slavery, control and all of that stuff, man, was about mind control.
100%.
And if we can control the mind, then we can control the strongest man.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just like an elephant that's tied to a chain, for a little bit, and then you take the chain off and the elephant never leaves. It's because that muscle memory won't allow them to go any further than what the chain, kept them, right?
Yeah.
And so if we link it back to that, there is something about the thought. There is something about the mind that we can if we lock into an idea and we really then we can run from a plantation, right? and not stop.
Yeah.
But then some people were locked onto it. No, I'm not going anywhere. This is all I know. And so with that, right, I think it's ironic that a lot of the faces that were shown
were yeah, they had some help.
They had some help. They did have some help.
a little
but it was some mental help that really
pushed them.
Yeah.
And that also was hard for me to digest.
I got it. I understand.
Because they were like, all I did was say this is what I want. And my 348 slaves
Made it happen.
made it happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know about that. But, hey, whatever. And I guess for me, I'm going to try to be objective here. The hardest part for me, if I was just to take it as it is and take, all the other, my personal thoughts out of it, is they make it seem a lot easier
Yeah. Right.
than it is.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And that was a little concerning for me, and it kind of made me personally feel as if, I don't know, I felt a little disconnected. And what I mean by that is like the visualization, I can't even speak. Help me out here. Visualization.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm fucking up right now. But yes, that part is I struggle with, right? I struggle with. So if they say, hey, think of a house that you want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know things that I want, but I don't know what that house is. I know things, I can visualize houses that I've seen that are nice.
Yeah.
But nothing is like, that's me, right? Or they say, hey, think of a car that you want. A car that I want, I've never driven.
I got you.
So how do I put myself
in that?
In that scenario, because then I'm just going to be attracting a PT Cruiser because I've driven one of those. I've driven one of those. I don't.
Right.
And then they talk about, okay, well, don't say you don't want, because if you don't want, then you get. Whatever. Okay, well, I can't say I don't want a PT Cruiser, even though I know that's what.
And now that's attracted to you.
Yes,
because you brought it up.
I need to say the opposite of what I want. I need to say I want to be. So I can end up with something else. I don't know, right? It's like it's a double-edged sword, because if you say you don't want it, you're going to get it. If you say you want it, I don't know. That part for me is real.
There's definitely some parts of it, man, that you have to chew the meat and spit out the bones if you can find the meat, in certain parts of it. I think it's just about picking and choosing what out of that or works for you. And I think the positive thought process is one of the things that we could all maybe reconsider, because I believe sometimes we talk ourselves out of certain situations because we approach it in a negative connotation, probably from the beginning, from previous experience or whatever those things were. We bring all of that to this current situation, and before it even begins, we sometimes suck the life out of it, right? And so, with that said, I think that's one of the things that I took from it the most is consider the situation and allow it to be it on its own merit without first injecting how you've seen life previously.
Right.
Because this may be an opportunity that's different, completely different than this past situation.
No, for sure. And I think that there's a lot of that that is good. I don't know, but then I feel like if you don't hit all the right whatever, then the secrets is not going to work for you.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I do agree that there are some steps that they talk about that if you don't align them, then like you said, the secret doesn't, it stays a secret.
You're going to end up in a PT Cruiser.
In a PT Cruiser.
In a PT Cruiser, And then another thing, like I thought, and they use this, I want to say they use it a couple times if I think about it. But they went over the debt.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. If you keep thinking about debt,
it's going to come to you.
It's going to come to you, right? Mm-hmm. And then the guy was like, I thought about checks, and checks just show from where?
Checks just start showing up. Yeah, right.
Where the checks come from.
So, I mean, that's clearly some stuff. He had some stuff going. People wasn't just sending checks, right?
just
random. He had to have something set up that the check made sense to come for.
I was thinking about you, and here's but that's hard, right? Because I think about that too. For me, the type of person that I am, I like to know where my money is going.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. My bills all come out on the same day or numerical day of the month, every month, I'm thinking about
So
debt
you
all
can
the time.
calculate exactly what you
I'm
need.
not thinking because like, oh my God, I don't want to bill, but I'm always thinking about debt. So
I
does
got
that mean that debt is forever going to be, you know what I'm saying, until my debts are paid?
I think that's
I'm
the
forever
thing
thinking
was
about
is that, you know, the way they showed that guy, it was consuming him, right? You know, he's so worried about the monthly bills that
Me too.
so worried about the monthly bills that it comes up, man. And you know, again, I think you have to think through it and find out what if any of it works for you or doesn't work for you, right?
No, for sure. That's the hard part though, is because they make it seem like it's an all or nothing
All or nothing
affair,
thing.
and you have to fully engulf, you have to fully believe, you have to fully, you know, and you talk about like, and this just seemed a little far-fetched to me, but this guy that was like, oh, I made my vision board, which I'm like, okay, what kind of grown-ass man's making vision boards back in the 70s? Nobody, because you had to be a man and smoke inside and drink whiskey.
Smoke with the windows
Smoke
up
with
on the car, right?
Yeah, with the windows up, fogging everybody out. Okay, you weren't making vision, but they didn't
Vision
have
boards.
magazines back then. Or anyway, but he was like, "Hey, you know, we moved or whatever, and then there was
Yeah.
the box, and then we opened the box up, and then
He looked at a vision board from
I
5
bought
years before.
the house, the same exact house. And so first of all, I want to call bullshit. I want to see the original vision board and
Because
compare it.
and my thing is, how did you not know that you
That you
had
bought the house.
you really bought the house that you had on the vision? So that one was a little like, bruh, you come on now.
Yeah, like that don't make no sense to me. Okay, and so that again, that makes it hard for
To
me
believe all
to
of it. I got
believe
it.
that it
I
works
understand.
because
Yep.
they put in so many things that were. Now, if he would have said I bought a house that was very similar,
Very similar.
Okay.
But he said the exact
right,
same house.
The second question I would have had is why was a house on the market for 5 years when you could just go in there and scoop it up? Especially back then, we weren't in a recession.
Yeah, I got
You know, so maybe you probably should look further into the details of said house because there might be a whole bunch of murders that went on.
Where did you go with that?
I'm just saying, like, stuff is out there for them a long time. Because people was just getting killed in there. It is California, so you know they're real weird about whatever.
I got you.
You know, I don't know. I just think that was, I don't know. There was a lot of things that I really, really, truly want to get behind,
I understand.
but
Because it does present a better way or a better way, a better approach, right?
yeah,
One that eliminates your stress and makes you feel at peace and brings some stability to whatever the situation is, right? So the presentation it presents that to you and tries to give you, you know, these ways of approach. Again, maybe that's the part of it that why those individuals are the only ones who have it, because you know the rest of us are looking at it like I don't know, we don't, you know, and there comes that faith or that belief or whatever it is that you lock into that's gonna have to kind of see that entire thing through and see, you know, whatever your vision board is and actually take that thing. So if that car that you can't actually sit in,
Can't
if
sit
you
in
cut him out like the little boy did with the bicycle,
yeah, and then the bike just came from grandpa.
grandpa showed up with the bike at the house.
I mean, maybe I feel like that's the equivalent of, hey, little Timmy, what do you want for Christmas? I mean, he
got
probably
you.
showed the goddamn bike
That he had the bike,
1,000
right?
times, like, hey, I want this bike.
But
want
I
this
mean,
bike. And grandma was like, you know what? I got a few extra dollars. So yes, he made it happen.
but had he not put it out there, grandpa wouldn't have known he
would
wanted
not
the bike.
have would not have known that he wanted the bike. It was an ugly bike, but I mean, I get it.
It was the bike he wanted.
It was the bike he wanted.
Yeah.
And I get it, and I understand that, but I don't think that putting my dream car out to nobody who's going to see it. This just for
So
me.
just making your poster
is not going to
That's not going to do it.
materialize.
I got you.
I don't know. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is growing up, okay, we had, in a way, quote unquote, vision boards.
Mm-hmm.
And those were called posters.
Yep.
And I had a Lamborghini Countach
Okay.
as a kid on my wall.
Okay.
Still has not come up. Still waiting on my Countach. I wanted that car. I could visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
Could hear it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not here.
So how old were you when you wanted it?
Shit. I'm bad at putting myself in time. I don't know. Maybe.
Were you drivable at that point?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why it didn't show up, because you couldn't handle it at that moment.
I'm drivable now.
But you don't want it now.
I would love a Lamborghini Countach.
But it's not
now.
on the wall anymore.
They so expensive.
You took it down off the wall.
Well, we had to
should've
sell
stayed on the wall.
the house.
Well, you should have took the picture down and brought it with you.
I don't know what happened. I think it probably got thrown out. I don't know. I also had a lot of pictures of a lot of cars. I used to pull out the posters at a Lowrider magazine.
Yeah.
Put the cars up.
Yep.
Also, because you can look at ass and not get in trouble.
Right.
You put those up.
Right.
So I didn't get any of those cars. There's a lot of stuff. So
Because as an adult, you don't have them up on the wall no more.
well, maybe-
There's a disconnect between that young kid that was dreaming and now this old man sitting next to me
Yep.
who is.
I can't look at them now because I'm at work all the goddamn time. So
That's why the secret is for you.
that's why
That's why they said you need to lock into the
I need
secret
to lock into the secret so I can get out of work.
so you can get out of work.
Also, watching The Secret, I'm like, I've never heard of none of these.
I had none of those people, man.
None of these people.
Yeah,
So who are you?
right. Well, I mean, I guess
State
they're just
your-
everyday Joes, man. Who
State your credentials. Okay.
they had
Tell
who they
me.
were at the bottom.
Yeah, but
You remember that?
yeah. So
That wasn't enough?
one guy was philosopher.
I saw that.
Don't
Yeah.
mean
And there was a philanthropist
nothing.
on there too.
Philanthropy. Yes. That, you know what that means? That means you live in your mom's basement.
And that's how you're able to live the life you want to live.
Yes. The secret is
No
you
rent.
keep telling mom one day this is gonna pop off,
Yeah.
and you just wait. And then when your parents die, then they take over that house, and now they got a house that's paid for. They don't got to do no work. They spent that retirement insurance money left over, and they went and bought that Lamborghini. That's the real secret. The secret was stay your ass at home, don't get a real job, and just wait for your parents to die.
You got it figured out.
I could put that in the book. I mean, that's pretty much what's happening right now. I don't know. I don't know. I want to believe, man. I want to.
I got you.
I just don't. The PT Cruiser threw me.
Well, let's try this. Maybe because I was willing to try with one thing. Prior to watching The Secret, I had this year, at the beginning of the year, began to write out kind of what I would like to see the year be, in statements. And so I read those statements every morning. And this was before I watched the movie or even heard of it, right? And so I've beginning to speak those things daily. And some of that stuff, man, I'm actually starting to see line up, right? Stuff that I was stressed out about, or stuff that just kept me just up at night, from marriage to finances to work to friendships to the podcast, whatever these things are, right? I've kind of listed some of those things out, and things that I really want to see. I begin to speak those things naturally daily, and I begin to see some of this stuff align. And so I don't know, I do believe that this thing does have power, right? There's this tongue that we speak from, because I could they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me is a lie, because it can produce hurt, it can produce pain.
Yep.
It could also produce joy, right? And so I believe that it has the ability to create.
Do you think that it's not, how can I say this? Do you think that it's not necessarily the speaking into existence as much as it is cognizance? I can't speak today. I'm sorry using big words. I didn't go to school. This is why. Being right aware of the situation, right? And what I mean by that is, like they say, if you want to make more money or have more money, or you want to be a better control of your funds or whatever, one of the first things that you should do every day when you wake up is check your bank account. You wake up, you check your bank account. Wake up, check your bank account, right? Or they say, they tell you, oh, well, if you have cash, you spend it slower than if you have like physical paper money. You spend slower than if you have a debit card, because there's no cognizance that, I'm spending money.
You're not spending it, right?
It's an action, right?
So
it's an everyday evident action. Every time I have to pull out and I break that bill and it gets smaller and it gets smaller and it gets smaller,
you spend less.
You spend less because you're like, wow, I'm really physically watching this, right? So as you're doing this list that's coming in line, like, is it possible that it's not positive thinking or whatever that's allowing these things to come in line? It's the fact that every morning you wake up, you make yourself aware of these goals, and because you're aware of these goals, you are now going to take action to get close to them, because you know that there's something there, right? It's like,
I believe it's a connection. I don't think it's one separate from the other. I think it's a combination of all of it at the end of the day, because when I say it, I hear it. Like it goes out of my mouth. Like I verbally say it in the morning, right? And then I'm verbally attentive to these things that I wrote down, because I want to honor them as much as I can as well, right?
Right.
But all of these things aren't specific to me, right? They aren't the things that I necessarily all can control at all times. Some of them are about relationships that I don't control. I don't control the other person. I don't control their movements. I don't control their operation. But I see that there's a connection that is beginning to happen, and there's a coming together that's happening that wasn't necessarily there prior. And so how to explain it, I don't know. But me saying it every morning, and that action, that action of doing that, and trusting that, okay, the more that I say this, the more that I believe it will come to, and everything is beginning to kind of align with that. My thoughts are aligning with my words, and my desire is aligning with my thoughts and my words. And so all of it then is starting to connect, I believe, and it's starting to be, and maybe it's changing how I view the thing, because I'm saying it differently. So I'm not viewing it as a problem, or I'm not viewing it as an issue, or I'm not identifying it as something that's hindering me. I'm viewing it as an opportunity. And maybe that even too is part of why I see it differently at this point. Yeah, and that was before the secret, right? That's my secret, right? That's
even need the secret.
that's kind of what I've been doing since the beginning of the year, and I see proof of, I just put it out there. One of the biggest things was just conversation with my wife and I, right? And I wanted that conversation to be open and honest, and be controlled enough not to see it as a debate, but just as conversation,
Right.
Just as open, honest communication. There was we were easily forgiven. We were moving on. If it was a joke, we laughed at it. If it was a issue we needed to talk about, we talked about it. But we were able to move on and not be at each other's throat or not talking to each other or all this other crap that goes with relationships, right?
Right.
And I completely see a change in that situation, right? And so I'm sharing that because I see that, and I wrote that down. I wrote that down as a thing, right? That we would forgive quickly and that we will be able to move on with situations. And I know I got on her nerves yesterday. I know I did, right? But by 10 minutes later, she was asking me a question. I was like, okay, we cool. Yeah. Oh, okay, all right, cool. So I didn't dwell on how it used to be because I would be like, okay, all right, I know I'm
just leave it. Yeah.
Just I'm gonna leave it alone because I know we're gonna be like this for a week, right? But it wasn't. It was took a couple minutes, moved right back into the process, and we didn't allow that situation to kind of control, the rest of the day or the rest of the night or whatever it was. And so that's one particular example, and I see there's other ones, but that's one particular example where I know that I didn't have control. All I had control over was me.
Yeah.
And in some points, I don't even have control over me, right? Sometimes I'm saying stuff and I'm like, why did I say that, right? Those moments where like, dang, why did I say that way or whatever it was, right?
I have them all the time.
All the time, right? And so I see a change there is what I'm saying.
There you go. So make a list. Be as informative as you can or be as direct as you can with your list.
Yeah.
Take action. Make it a part of your daily routine.
Yep.
And you shall see the fruits of your labor.
I agree. Yep. And just to tell you, every day I have it right here. So there's no excuses. No excuses. Right here in my notes on my phone. That's the way I typed it at. Right? What does that say?
Number one says get your dick sucked.
Can I show you my list?
Can I show you my? Never mind. Let me take my list back.
I cannot show Shepard my list.
Day, ladies and gentlemen.
Not babe, that's not on my list.
That's not on the list.
It's not on my list.
Not on the list.
So yeah, this is my thing, and it's a reminder in my calendar. So at every day, at 8 a.m., it's a calendar reminder, and I put it in there indefinitely. As I read through it, as things come up that I feel like, okay, if I say this differently, maybe I'll get a different response. I'll change it, and I'll modify it, and I'll add to the thing. As new things come up, I'll add a new positive thought, positive affirmation, whatever you want to call it. I'll add that to the thing, and we're gonna see where it roll, man. And we'll talk about it 12 months from now. I'll give an update on the whole list.
I like it. 12 months out, we're waiting for it. Let's leave it right there.
Cool.
What's going on, guys? Hope you like the show. Appreciate y'all listening, but we need something from you.
Yeah, man, we need you to like, comment, and subscribe. We want to know what you like about the show so that we can continue to create relevant content for you.
Appreciate it.